Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the CSL playoffs. We have a terrific matchup for you guys today with RPI versus UCLA. Two strong teams going to be going head to head tonight here in the CSL.
Indeed they are, Joe. And like you said, this is going to be a fun match. I do think that I'm going to give a little bit of favoritism to RPI just because they have the powerhouse, the star power here, as we've talked so many times in the CSL before about the power that a star player has in the CSL. Even with this team format where you only get to send out those players once, minus maybe like an ace match or maybe the 2v2 or something, they still hold a lot of power and just being able to rely on them to carry out the victory in the ace match.
Yeah, it's a big anchor to have, and I mean, Jon Snow may just be the biggest anchor here in the CSL. An accomplished player. He has often gotten top 4 in those challengers, getting up to kind of Premier League. And I think that he's going to be looking to carry his team all the way to the grand finals in the CSL. He talked a lot of trash coming up to it. And as we get ready to hop into the first series, we're going to see if he can live up to that.
Yeah. Well, our first match is going to be on Catalyst, I believe, which is going to be a fun one. And remember that the format for the CSL, if you're not familiar, if you're joining us just now for the playoffs, as we hop into one of our last round of, I think, 8 matches that are left, then the first 2 matches are 1v1s, then it's a 2v2, and then another 1v1, potentially following it up into an ace match that is also a 1v1. So basically, potential for 4 1v1s and a lot of really good StarCraft.
So spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner, it is our red Zerg player playing for RPI. It is Jon Snow.
Game paused.
Oh,
Looks
okay.
like Hunter's having some lag here.
Okay, so I think that I done goofed, and I made it on the wrong server. So we're gonna remake. For those who are, of course, wondering, RPI, East Coast team, UCLA, West Coast team, we meet in the middle, Joe. London. Yeah, it was funny. I was actually having a conversation with Jon Snow maybe like 30 minutes ago or an hour ago, and he was talking with Neeb, and he was like, why does Neeb, who lives 20 minutes or 30 minutes away from me right now, wait, this is so weird. I have my server preference set to central. This is actually really weird. This is central.
And you hosted the lobby, right?
I did host the lobby. That's very odd. We're gonna try one more time, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh man, if BattleNet changed the way that they do server preference, this is like a fun factoid because I think most people probably won't know about how server preferences are chosen when you go into like lobbies and stuff. This is something that people literally just figured out through trial and error. But the way it works is whatever server preference you have set in your settings, at the time you hit create lobby is the server preference that will be chosen for the match. It's whoever makes the lobby. So it doesn't do like this average of everybody's server preference. It doesn't change the preference if you like change your setting after you're already in the lobby. So there's like a lot of complications and annoyances that arise from that. But all right, we're hopefully gonna get it resolved this time.
Yeah, and it can get weird if you're in a party. Like really weird.
Yeah, I don't really know how it's decided if you're in a party. I think that it tries to do like the same sort of best match logic that it will do with ladder, but with everybody in the party if you make it like that. But I'm not actually positive about that.
Maybe now if you have like a GM in the game, they made it just like ladder. Your preference no longer matters if you have a GM.
Yeah. Okay, I think that Jon Snow's ready. I'm gonna check that Hunter is ready. I'm gonna triple check my Hunter, or my server preferences. Okay, cool. We're set to central.
Okay, so let's go ahead and hop into this game.
All right. So we were talking a bit about the actual players in this 1v1. I know we were about to intro them, but Jon Snow, we talked a lot about him. He's a big hard hitter. Huntaru is a Diamond League player. So in a way, this is one of the most David versus Goliath things you could have, because Jon Snow, again, you mentioned this before, he is in a really strong position to potentially claim the best player, the best individual star player in the entirety of the CSL. So it's a hard one for a Diamond League player to come up against. But Joe, go ahead and take it away.
Well, spawning here in the top left-hand corner on Catalyst, playing for UCLA. Can he defeat the god that is Jon Snow? It is Huntaru.
And down here in the bottom right, we have the red Zerg player. Absolute star power. Give it up for Jon Snow from Team RPI.
This is going to be a tough one for Huntaru. I almost think back to, I think this was a game I was casting with you last week, where we had a similar situation. It was like a diamond player going up against a GM, and he busted out that crazy fake hatch first, where he almost pulled through with the lings hitting at a weird time. Was I maybe casting this one with tempo?
You may have been casting that with tempo.
Okay, so he did a fake hatch first, and the guy he scouted it. It worked exactly, and he almost...
Oh, wait, no, I remember what you're talking about. That was so good. Oh, man, that was so sick. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of crazy trickery is really what you want to do when you have, like, especially in ZVZ, where it's just so volatile, and a surge of units at the proper time can overwhelm your opponent. But Jon Snow is not going to be getting caught off guard by anything like that. With 6 lings already fired up in the production tab here, he's going to be in a perfectly defensive position, not going to let himself get caught.
Yeah, you know, Joe, we talk about, you know, the power of a star player, etc. I know we keep, or at least I keep repeatedly talking about that. But there is the difference also between a star player that's valuable. There are definitely players out there that can suffer losses to people that maybe are not necessarily the same level of star player. They can fall to someone that's maybe a little bit worse than them. Jon Snow is quite literally known for being a consistent player that just doesn't really lose to people worse than him. And that is what makes him so scary. I would say above all else is that Jon Snow had a very steady rise up in the scene. And it's this kind of playstyle that I think he also has, where he has a very safe, not too over aggressive, not too over economic style that allows him to do stuff like this and just pick apart players that are a little bit worse than him. They can't really take the economic edges, and they can't really get too aggressive and make a ton happen because he's just so ready for everything.
Yeah, I mean, we already see these 6 lings paying absolute dividends, getting 4 drones and a queen here. Even cleaning up a couple of lings for free, and only 1 ling has gone down for all of this. He may even be able to escape with some of it if he doesn't want to keep trying to harass.
Yeah, this has been absolutely phenomenal damage. He does eventually end up losing those lings, but he's got a spine crawler coming down back at home. His ling speed is also going to be a good ways away from finishing. So, of course, it does come at a bit of a cost to go for all of that stuff. That means he's not really going to have the same level of mobility that Huntaru has, now having that Zergling speed finished up. But Jon Snow doesn't need to have that mobility so much. As long as he keeps those queens at the ramp, as long as Huntaru is able to really break Jon Snow here, Jon Snow's just going to kind of walk away, or I should say sprint away, with that economic lead he just got for himself.
Yeah, even throwing a spine crawler down in the natural to help anchor the defense, I absolutely love that decision. Huntaru is going to come in here with a pretty high count of speedlings, but these lings are already in place for Jon Snow to help defend. The queens are on the ramp here, and Huntaru doesn't think he can get anything done.
Yeah, one of the queens did move down to inject larva right when the lings are kind of dancing around, but now the banelings are here, so I don't think it's going to be relevant, and Huntaru also knows it. He has to back up. He's got to find another way to make some magic happen. He's starting to go for a little bit of a wall up with the double evolution chambers. I think it's a wise decision because when you're up against a player that's better than you, I think one of the easiest ways to fall prey to, I guess, their strengths and just light bits of aggression is they do something simple like a run by and you're not quite paying attention.
Yeah, there are a lot of banelings here for Hunter, so if he could find a good connection with the Zerglings of Jon Snow, that'd be really nice for him here. Does look like Jon Snow actually is going to force his way in here. A few banelings left for Hunter, but they are all going to get cleaned up, and suddenly Hunter does not have the forces on the ground to challenge Jon Snow's army. That queen going to get cleaned up, and there is nothing to contest the economic damage that is going on right now in Hunter's natural.
So you could be quite blunt about it, Joe. Right now, there's 11 army supply for Hunteru. I think most of it is also in production. Jon Snow is just running away with this game at this point. I feel like he's already done enough damage, but he's also taking a third base behind this. He's getting up a road tour. He's getting up an evolution chamber. It's not even necessarily that Hunteru played really poorly or anything. This was not a match I think he was honestly expected to win. There was a chance that maybe he could make some sort of upset happen, but it was a slim chance, and he put up a good fight, but this is getting worse and worse.
Yeah, those two banelings do connect with the drone line. I think that's going to spell the end for Hunteru as Jon Snow takes more than double the supply of his opponent here. Hunteru going to be falling here in the first game. Jon Snow putting one on the board for RPI as the final drones of Hunteru do fall. Decent splits allow him to stay alive, but a single Ling able to clean up all of these damaged drones. And I think we may see the supply go down to 0 here, Ravi.
Yeah, just kind of let it soak in. Jon Snow takes the first game, like you mentioned, for RPI. But I want to note something right here, is that, you know, I know this is going to sound so strange after watching RPI takes a pretty convincing game, but this was potentially one of the best case scenarios, I think, for UCLA. Because UCLA now has expended one of their Diamond League players who, no offense to Hunteru, is not necessarily going to be UCLA's star player there. And by using one of their players that isn't necessarily the star player on Jon Snow, who is, like, without a doubt, RPI's strongest player, they now can use their strongest player, UCLA can, to try and take game number 2, bring it to the 2v2. If they take that, then they just have to win one more match, and they will close it out before Jon Snow can come out into an ace match. I think that is their path to victory. And quite frankly, I think that they're actually on that path right now.
Yeah, well, they'll have to start things off by winning the next match. They're going to want to close things out before the ace. So let's find out if they can get that comeback started. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
but she said, trust me, these are the stories we will tell. As I stood frozen, infinite, I almost fell, but I got a feeling and my heart starts beating, a sudden rush of feeling alive. This is freedom and I won't change, I won't phase out. I'm no
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the CSL. We are getting ready to spawn into our second map between RPI and UCLA on Eastwatch. It's going to be a Terran versus Zerg here today.
Indeed, and it's gonna be a fun one. I know I especially enjoy the different pronunciations we have for one of these players, so I'll let you go ahead and take it away with your player introduction because I want to hear your pronunciation first.
Spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner, it is the red Zerg player, Spachemin.
And spawning up at the top right, we have the green Terran player from UCLA. It is Xavier. By the way, I like the pronunciation specimen.
Specimen.
Specimen. Spaceman's boring.
Yeah, well, Spachemin, did you ever watch 30 Rock?
I do remember Mr.
Yeah, there's a doctor spaceman.
Yeah. Yeah. That was pretty good. I would not doubt if it was maybe something based off of that, but it could also be a Marine thing, but it could also be some sort of defense against the proxy racks that he's going to be facing off against. We got one barracks coming down. We got a second SCV making its way across the map, and no gas geysers thrown down. Joe, it does seem very likely we're about to see a lot of Marines and some bunkers coming down.
Yeah, this Overlord, is it going to be... No, it doesn't look like it's going to be turning left or anywhere that may scout. It's just trucking...
This is really close.
It's so close. This is a practiced build.
Oh, it sees it.
It sees it.
Okay. Spaceman
And
now knowing about it.
Yeah, he did reveal that he saw it though. So Xavier is going to know that he's on a significantly harder timer than he otherwise would be here. Needs to be careful with that Overlord. Doesn't want to get caught out with a Marine there. Getting supply blocked right now would be absolutely devastating when you're trying to hold an attack.
I'm a little surprised that his Overlord isn't going up to the high ground that these barracks are right next to, because I think he could save it there. He may still be able to save it even after, if he just reacts after the Overlord starts getting attacked, but you can see the Marine is trying to run away from the drones. One of the most important things about shutting this kind of attack down is just making sure the Marines never get to a critical mass. And wow, doing a great job with these drones. Already going to be able to pick off one of these Marines without losing any of these drones.
Yeah, now the next two Marines are going to come out, and suddenly things get a lot dicier. One drone is going to be fighting out of the way here. I almost wonder if bringing the Overlord here was like an intentional tanking decision, and it got kind of thrown off just by the weird drone micro there.
Maybe. I don't know. Wouldn't be a huge fan of that just because Marine damage is so important, and also you want to not go in until you actually have a decent number of Marines. So having 4 Marines, I think that's actually a decent enough number that you can start pushing on forward. If you go in too early, your Marines just get picked off very quickly by 1 or 2 or even 3 or 4 drones, as we saw before.
Yeah, now it looks like this Queen is going to come out here. That's going to make holding this a little bit easier. Starting to have the tools to defend is Spaceman. as these Lings trying to get the wrap around. The Queen offering its damage from the back. The Marines doing a good job of kiting, but they are starting to fall. If he can deny them getting in this bunker, that's going to be a huge accomplishment.
Oh, the bunker finishes up at the absolute last second. One Marine makes into the bunker, but this bunker is not going to be long for this world. There's also another bunker on the high ground that gets canceled. More Lings come streaming on forward. This might be a hard shutdown. It was better when Maru did it. GG. Spaceman takes game number 2 for RPI, and that is... Oh boy, that is actually, I think, worst case situation for UCLA. I was talking about how UCLA was maybe still on their route for how they would try and claim victory in this series, but I feel like that just got dashed because now the best case is that they bring it to an ace match and Jon Snow will be able to come out in that ace match. How do I don't know if they have an answer for Jon Snow.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some kind of crazy practice build, but Spichemin put a clinic on for how to hold that build, and that's going to put his team in a decisively advantageous stage, like you were saying. We're going to find out if UCLA can even manage to put one on the board in this series in our next map. That's going to be the 2v2. You don't want to miss it, and we will be right back.
But she said, trust me, these are the stories we will tell. As I stood frozen, infinite, I almost fell. But I got a feeling and my heart starts beating, a sudden rush of feeling alive. This is freedom and I won't change, I won't phase out.
Right from the start, we knew that this would never be now, baby. Be now, baby. We're miles apart, and we just wanna let it free now, baby. Free now, baby. 'Cause I'm only living for today, and I know you're understanding what I say. We're out of time, so I'm keeping my heart safe and sound. Safe and sound. Safe and Right from the start, we knew that this would never be now, baby. Be now, baby. We're miles apart, and we just wanna let it free now, baby. Free now, baby. 'Cause I'm only living for today, and I know you're understanding what I say. We're out of time, so I'm keeping my heart safe and sound.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CSL. We are getting ready to go into our 2v2 as RPI leads the score 2-0. They're going to be looking to take this without any competition for their opponents, UCLA. But the 2v2 is a match where miracles happen, Ravi. Do you think that our heroes from UCLA can pull one back and get one on the board for their team?
You know what? I think that this is their best opportunity, and even just getting some momentum will mean a lot here because they need it. They really need it. Nobody ever enjoys going out 0-3. So even if they don't know if they can win the series, this is an important match for them.
Spawning here in the top left-hand corner, playing for RPI, it is the Pink Terran T-Fang. And the Red Zerg, Spachemin.
And their opponents in the bottom side of the map, in the blue, we got our teal Zerg player, Hunteru. And their teammates, we got the blue Protoss player, Brian, representing Team UCLA. This is a red versus blue matchup, a good old classic. Nice to, I love whenever we remember to ask the players to pick similar-ish colors for the team, so it's super easy to keep track of. Just red versus blue. pink is kind of red and teal is kind of blue.
Yeah. Off red. But I like the diversity of matchups. I feel like we've been seeing a lot of double Zerg lately here in the CSL and the 2v2 matches. And double Zerg, it's a weird matchup. You have to like play funky styles or just open with early Zerg rushes. I think having another race in there gives you a lot more kind of solidness and flexibility, especially on a map like Shrines of Lizul, where you have like a lot of 1 and 2 base play. It's a restrictive, small map that it's easy to attack on, and having attacks that are based on like an aggressive Ling buffer to control space, and then kind of like tech or ranged units coming up from your Terran and Protoss partner, I think can create a lot of really cool, chaotic, fun battles.
Absolutely. And I think touching upon what you were saying, I totally agree. And I think that this is a map that it's not a hard statistic, but like 80% of the games, the aggressors or the people who are able to get aggressive against someone who tries to stay defensive, the aggressors end up winning the series, the game, just because this map really does tend to favor aggression. Like you said, it's such a small map. You're very close to your opponents. You're almost as close to your opponents as you are to your teammate, which, by the way, for teammates, does kind of feel far away for a map that's so small. So I think a lot of the factors just kind of lead into that aggression and those aggressive plays. Speaking of aggression, T-Fang getting a decent amount of damage done. I think that Brian may have skipped out on something, because did he get like a really early second gas guys or something?
He really took a nat really fast.
Huh?
He took his natural super fast on Shrines of Lizul, and these Reapers just got across the map. There's the Stargate out, but he's taken so much economic damage already.
Yeah, I think he might have gone Gate, Nexus, Core, Stargate before making his first Gateway unit, which just is, if you think about Protoss versus Terran in general, like a normal 1v1, you can't deal with the Reaper, and that's why he took so much damage. But now it's just kind of escalated to the point where 4 or 5 Reapers are legitimately just going to potentially kill Brian here, and his teammate is going to have a hard time even helping him out that much.
Yeah, Hunter is trying to get some Speedlings out. Brian is going to have this Oracle in a moment, and that will eventually clean all the Reapers up here, but the damage has been done. Brian down to just 9 workers. His opponent's not too many more, but back at home, they're feeling very good. They've had the aggression on. They've bought themselves space. They have perfect information as well with these attacks. So they're just feeling a really comfortable, solid position with, like, bleeds all around.
Yeah, a couple of Banelings finishing up over here for UCLA as well. So that's going to be a useful tool to try and help deal with things. But, oh man, the Lings for Spacemen run into the mineral line. Poor Brian. Oh, okay, there are those Banelings, though, we were talking about. So the probes are going to manage to survive there. But now the Reapers come in, snipe off 1 probe. They're going to go down to the low ground and snipe off even more.
Yeah, I know there's definitely a huge pressure to counter damage, but I almost would have liked to see that Oracle sit at home and just keep those Reapers pushed away. It's limited in what it can do, obviously, but combined with the shield battery, maybe you can hang on against these oncoming attacks.
Yeah, at this point, Brian has lost all but 1 worker, and I would love if that 1 Oracle, if he just could find the attention span and even just a little bit of the energy to go in and get some real damage on. But Brian actually leaves the game, is not going to help his teammate Micro against this. He has given up at this point. And now it's all on his teammate Hunteru to try and make this work.
Yeah, Hunteru is sure trying his heart out. We know that he has the stamina to try to pull out a win from what looks to be a loss based on his series with Jon Snow, but this is looking increasingly desperate, and it looks like RPI going to be taking this series in a 3-0 stomp as they continue to clean up the last of Hunteru's army.
Yeah, we're at the point where Hunteru is down to 10 supply versus a combined 88 supply. And Joe, I know I'm not supposed to math on stream, but that's close to 9 times the supply with 2 different people to micro it. You got expansions being thrown down left and right. There is going to be the GG. RPI 3-0s their opponents and moves on to the round of 8.
And that is going to be it for, I believe that was our last round of 16 broadcast. Do you know, I believe Thursday starts the round of 8?
I believe that you have Chicago that's still technically, according to like the bracket, has not been updated, facing off versus University of Washington. from the
Okay.
round of 16. But I think we're not entirely sure just yet when that's going to be played out. We do know that the round of 8 should be starting within the next week or so, though. So be on the lookout for that. I think that RPI is going to go on to face off versus good old UConn. Oh man. When you see UConn, you know we got the legendary Printup, we got H-Jack, so we got Turkey Dono, we got a lot of really fun players, and they're going to be facing off against a very solid team that we just saw today, RPI. So that's going to be a very fun round of 8 match. A lot of really good matches coming up in that round of 8.
So be sure to catch that, guys. Should be a lot of fun. It's been great casting the CSL tonight. Once again, RPI took things in a clean 3-0. Congrats to them. Thank you to Twitch for helping to make things happen here at the CSL. We're very grateful for the support they give, and we will see you guys on Thursday.